Alright guys, I'm the next guy. Welcome to my Europa Universalis 4 Let's Play and tutorial video. So first and foremost, you're going to go to Settings and Audio and turn off the music and ambience. They kind of get in the way, in my opinion. Anyway, on to single player. So let's look at what the HUD they give us. We have map types here, and no one ever used a geographic map type, so let's go to political map mode. That way we can see all the different countries. Here on the left, we have our timeline, all the important dates, and the current date. So everybody starts in 1444, that way we have the most time to play our country. Here we have all the interesting countries to play. If you read the description, you'll see that the Ottomans, Castile, and France are the most interesting countries to play. That's why they're glowing green. And then here's some other ones that are of interest. I always play Iron Man mode, but because my internet sucks, I'm going to go ahead and not play it. What Iron Man mode is, you can't go back to a previous save. You have to continue playing the country until you die or it hits 1820. Very cool. Now, because this is probably going to be your first video, you're not going to randomize the new world. It keeps it simpler and more predictable. Keep the options all as they are. They're good to go. And let's go on to picking a country. So it is called Europa Universalis for a reason. Playing a European country is going to give you the most enriched experience. Now you can play any country you want that exists, like North America, South America, Africa, China, Japan. But they're not going to be as easy for a new player. You're going to want to stick to Europe. So it is set in 1440, so all the countries and alliances that stand at that time will still be in existence, like England's at war with France, but you can stop that if you want, or Portugal allied with England. But for the most part, people aren't really buddied up with anybody. There aren't that many alliances. That way, as soon as you start, you can make your own alliances. So for this game, I'm going to be playing Bavaria, which is within the Holy Roman Empire. So you're going to see a lot of good gameplay for that. Looking at our country description, we are a Catholic country. You can see most of Europe is Catholic, got some Orthodoxy and some Sunnis, but they won't really be of much interest to us in the Bavaria campaign because we're largely landlocked. We are an independent nation, meaning we are not a subject nation. Do not play a subject nation. You will have no fun, you will have no options diplomatically. Here is our ruler. He is a pretty bad ruler because his stats are poor. You're going to want a ruler of about 5-ish stats. That's like really good ruler. This is our technology starting point, and everyone in Europe has 333. Here are our ideas. These I'll go into detail later. Our difficulty, kind of midway. Like England, I think the Ottomans, Castile, they have lower difficulties, and then countries like Africa are going to have higher difficulty. So, on to Bavaria. One thing I failed to mention before is that when you're picking a country, don't pick a small country. You may think that, oh, because it's smaller, it'll be easier to manage. What most often happens is that you get conquered very easily. Having a large force, an army, and lots of land is good as a first playthrough. Like most people will play England, France, Castile, or the Ottomans because they have lots of options and people they can conquer. Bavaria is not the strongest, nor is it quite the weakest. Like, my biggest problems are going to be Bohemia, right here, and Austria, right here. Because we will be kind of feuding for power over the empire. So, to begin, I set it to political map mode. I never actually use any other map mode, because you need to be able to see where all the countries are, and what color and what provinces are yours. It's called a painting simulator for a reason, because you paint Europe your color. Onto the GUI. The game starts paused, so you can kind of like take a breather and like set up your country and get everything started. So there are 5 different speeds. I usually play at either 5 or 1. Right now it's paused and at 1. We'll get that started later once everything is set up. So at the top left we have our treasury. It's currently 84 ducats with a positive monthly income of 2.21 ducats. So we're in good standing so far. Onto our manpower, that's the able-bodied men. We have 9,000, and because regiments are hired in units of 1,000, that means we can create 9,000 more guys. This recovers slowly, so that means you can't just be continually going to war. You have manpower to worry about as well as money. Stability says how stable your country is. You're going to want this to be positive. You generally don't need to worry about it unless it's negative. More on that later. Prestige is one of the rewards you get for doing well in the game. Winning battles, good peace deals, making the right decisions will give you bonus prestige, and as you can see with all these green numbers, they give you benefits in all sorts of areas for having good prestige. Legitimacy is how legitimate your monarch is. If you have like a bastard child and he ends up taking over, your legitimacy is going to be very low, and it's going to affect your prestige. So here's our notification bar. Little green flags and red flags will come down, basically telling you what's new and what your country needs right now. So those will be nice when you're managing your empire. Most of your administrative work is going to be dealt with this coat of arms. See, it's a Bavarian flag because we're Bavaria, and when you pop it open, you have all these different tabs for different parts of your government. So this one's called government because it's what kind of government you are and who rules it, where your area is, your cabinet. So we are a feudal monarchy. That can change later to a despotic monarchy or an administrative monarchy, or I believe it's a revolutionary monarchy for France, I believe. And then there's absolute monarch. So, yeah. You don't need to worry about this much, but your advisors can come in handy because you have what's called monarch points. Now, these numbers right here are the monarch points, which they have a base of 3 every month, and your ruler also weighs in. So the better your ruler is, the more monarch points you get in that category. Now, there are 3 categories: administrative, diplomatic, and military. Administrative helps you improve your stability within the country and things that help your country run smoothly. Diplomatic is getting peace deals, and basically any diplomatic action requires you to spend diplomatic power. Military power helps you upgrade your troops and do some quick, like you can force march your guys or you can stamp out a rebellion. Military power. You can hire advisors for a monthly fee to help increase this monarch power over time. So the cheaper ones, the ones that give 1+, will cost you 1 monthly, while guys who are +3 will cost you 9 monthly. You generally don't get those guys unless you really want to advance your nation in that category, because right now I have +2 a month. I couldn't manage a +3 advisor. Every advisor has his own little kind of benefit, so you're generally going for them for the +1, but if you actually need that -3 revolt risk, it can be very handy. I believe that since I am Bavaria, I will need good diplomatic skill, perhaps. I believe so. So I'm going to get a diplomatic advisor, because you only cost 1 month and only have +2. So I'm going to get better relations over time. I'll explain the finer points of that much later. So advisors are costly. I don't suggest getting many of them unless you're just making bank. Do not get more than 2. Our diplomatic overview gives us a overview of our standing with other countries. Most are going to be positive, some are negative because they are of another religion. Let's see if I can get a really negative one. No, not really. No one really hates me right now. Later, though. There's a new addition to EU, which was Rivals, which allows you to say, hey, that guy's my enemy, or more, I'm in a tight rivalry with him. So no diplomacy between you two. You get benefits against offensive actions, make it easier for you to declare war. And other nations know that you are rivals. So if two nations are rivaling a different one, it's a cause for an alliance between the two. And it makes diplomacy really easy. It's nice for smaller countries when you just rival a country that a bigger nation is rival to, and you can form a nice alliance. I'll worry about that later when I find out what other nations are picking on. Here's economy. So economy is done month to month. You gain and lose money month to month, but there isn't much micromanaging. There's kind of just you're either pumping money into your military or you're not. So most of your money is going to be going to your army and your advisors, and most of your money is going to be coming from either taxation or trade. Much later in the game, when the Industrial Revolution starts to kind of pick up, you'll have more production. So currently, since I'm not at war, my army doesn't need to have that much money, but when it does go to war, I am going to be pumping all of my money into my army. I will go into trade later. It's a bit of a finicky mess. So, on to technology. Another use for administrative, diplomatic, and military power is to advance your nation technologically. If you spend, let's see, it's 538 power, you will advance in the administrative tech. You will or you can do it for diplomatic and military. You have to kind of have a balance between helping your nation out right now or buying it tech so later on it will be better. I'm going to skip ideas because that is for when I go up in a tech, I unlock an idea group. Now missions are how you kind of give your nation a directive early on or for the short term. So the game generates you 3 missions and they kind of change over time depending on your situation and who you're rivaled with. So this looks interesting. We cannot have any rivals in our own little corner of Germany. The land of Arschbach, I don't know how to pronounce that, legally belong to cadet branch of the, man, these German names, family. We must have them for ourselves. So this country, they say is part of our land. And if I own it, this will probably give me a conquest mission for them. Or I can ally with Württemberg, which is right here. Or I could just go for a peaceful route and improve my prestige. All in due time. Stability and expansion is where you manage your stability up here with this. Manage how exhausted your country is from war. If you have a really lengthy war, your country is going to feel it. Religion, unless you have some heathens in your territory, you're not going to do much here. I'm Catholic, that's all it really tells me. Military overview tells you how many military units you can handle before accruing extra cost. How many leaders you have, so think great generals. So, if units, like this guy right here, can have generals, they don't need to have one, but it definitely helps out your play. So this says 9 when it actually means 9,000 troops. I only have 9 fielded, but my country can only support 13. Yeah. So these are the type of units I have. These don't change often. If you advance in military tech, you might unlock a new type of troops. It's really nice when you do. So because I have 9,000 here and I have 13k I can support, and I still have $2 a month, I probably am going to recruit more units. So let's go ahead and do that now. That's one of the first things you're going to do. So units are trained in provinces. See, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 provinces. None elsewhere. So I'm going to click on each province, and I'm going to click Recruit Regiment. I'm going to say Halberd Infantry because Latin Knights cost way more. They're stronger and very good early game, but they cost too much to be worth it for me. I'm going to click each one and create a new Halberd Infantry in each. That should take my 9 and put it at 13. Alright. I do not have any subjects, so we're all fine and good there.